What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here, guitarjams.com. Sorry I haven't done a lesson in a week or so. Been recovering from the crazy thing that everyone got, the flu, cough, whatever, all that stuff. So my voice is still a little nay. Anyway, I'm going to teach you a nice kind of beginner lesson, but it's a great classic song. So if you're, a shredding expert guitar player, hopefully you still enjoy learning this. Also, the guy that kind of gave me my first start on the YouTube guitar lesson thing, David Taub from Next Level Guitar, they're running a nice beginner sale, and they actually gave me 2 packages to give away. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick 2 comments, and they're going to be able to win that set. And you can check out what's in that set down in that link down there. And, we all appreciate the support. But anyway, let's zoom in and work on this nice little tune. Here we go. All right, so we're going to take 3 of the nice beginner chords that you want to be working on and a nice little rhythm. And just remember, if you are a beginner, you want to work on this stuff super slowly. Anyway, that was for you guys. So we're going to take an E major chord, which is 2nd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the D string. So it's middle finger, ring finger, index finger on the 1st fret of the G, and you strum the whole chord. The next chord is a D chord, the classic chord, the first chord I ever learned, and the only chord I ever learned for about 3 or 4 years. Some of you may relate to that. So it's the 2nd fret on the G with our index finger, and the 2nd fret on the high E with our middle finger, and then in between, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B. Like that. And then the 3rd chord is A major, and it's 2nd fret on the D, 2nd fret on the G, 2nd fret on the B. And so when you play the E chord, you can strum the whole guitar. When you play the D chord, you want to definitely avoid this top string here. I actually tend to mute it with my thumb, but don't worry about that. The best sound would probably be just from this D string down. But if the A string gets in there, that's okay too. And then the A chord, kind of want to try and not get that low E in there, but if you're really beginner, don't worry about that stuff right now. Want to worry more about getting these shapes correct. Now here's a few tips for the beginners out there to help you get these chord switching faster and memorizing the chords. Tip number 1 is taking the chord shape. This is a really good one for the muscle memory. You take a chord shape that you're working on, keep the shape of the chord like you could pretend you've sprayed liquid freeze on it, like that, right? So if you took your hand off, the shape would still stay, and then put it back on. So keep the shape, take your hand off, and then put it back on. Now if you're a beginner, your hand's not going to really stay frozen like in a perfect shape, but what it enables you to do is you take it off, you put it back on, and you kind of see what little spots you need to work on, and it helps that muscle memory memorize that chord probably twice as fast, if not faster. So tip number 1, keep the shape, take your hand off, keeping the shape, keep the shape, and put it back on. So like with the D chord, same thing, kind of lock that shape in there, make sure it sounds good, take your hand off trying to keep the shape, put it back on, and you got it. Same thing with A, keep the shape, put it back on. All right? Another thing, when it comes to switching chords, this is something that I've had a lot of success with students, is looking for like a target note. For instance, the D chord, which is in almost every beginner song. Instead of trying to memorize the whole thing at once, look for a locator point. It's going to help you when you're having to switch really fast, or faster than you can do. So with the D chord, I think of my index finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. I like to think of the finger that's highest up in this direction as my locator point, because what it does is it helps your hand already get into the right position to play the rest of the chord. A lot of guys, when they're beginning, like for instance, if you thought of this as your locator, my hand could be out here, it could be tilted up. There's all kinds of things. My hand could be in a weird shape, and then I'm going to have to adjust the shape to get the rest of the fingers. With this, with the index finger, it helps it lock it in right away. So for the A chord, I would think of index finger on the 2nd fret of the D right there, and then the rest go in. With the E chord, I would think of my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and the rest lock in. So watch. So you've got the E chord would be that. The D chord would be index on the 2nd fret of the G, and then you'd scoot it up 1 string for the A chord. So look at that. E, D, A. Obviously, the end result that you want to get is to just be able to play them all at once. But if you compartmentalize little aspects like muscle memory on the shape, target notes, practicing the chords without strumming at all just to get the muscle memory, then practice with the strumming. If you break it down into little pieces, when you put it all together, it'll be that much quicker to master it. Okay? So we've got E, D, and A. That's the whole progression. Now look at my right hand. Look at that. It's just doing the same. So it'd be like down, down, up, down, up, down, up, 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 down. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about the guitar, and also, by the way, you could play this on electric guitar as well, no problem. But the weird thing is, like when you strum the kind of the middle set of strings open, it's kind of like a G chord. Hear how it sounds the same if I'm just strumming the middle strings of it? So there's kind of a cool little thing with this where we're kind of getting some airy open string strums in between the chords. So we're going to start with the E chord. I want you to do this really slow. Down, down, up. That last up of the down, down, up, we're taking our hand off to get to the next chord. Watch this, really slow. So the ups are when our hand's coming off to get to the next chord. Gives us a little breathing room too, but you got to practice it really slow to master it. So I did a down on the D, and then on my up strum, my hand's off, getting ready for the A. So watch. Up is open, back to the starting point. cool little da 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 da. And kind of what I'm doing there, I'm doing all down strums now, and I just leave one open strum right before that first E again. There it was. Hope you got something out of that. Just remember, I'm going to pick 2 comments to win that set. You can see the link right there for the set. Otherwise, I'm hanging out at guitarjams.com teaching away. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you in another video lesson real soon. Take care.